in his hands, because I pictured God up there with this long beard, and he would have everybody in his hands. And, I went and talked to the Sunday school teachers, and, they couldn't really tell me, how that could really happen, And now, I so believe that with all my heart and soul that, God has the whole world in its hands, and that energy is the support of the whole universe. That, to me, it's about this loving energy that birthed us, that is here for us, that supports us, that grows us forward. That's what having the whole world, in its hands is about. And I just love that we're here for each other, and that we're supported by something that we know not of, really. We don't know what it is, but we are supported, and that our journey is supposed to be just the way it is, and that somebody's here for that. So there's a quote that I love by Donna Markova in Spot of Grace, who kind of speaks to this. You'll recognize this, April, honey. You survived as a child because others helped to maintain your life. It continues to be true today, even when you think you are abandoned, rejected, neglected, unloved. The tomatoes that you eat sustain you. The crossing guard stops the traffic so that you can get to the other side of the street. The dinner offered to you on clean white plates nourishes you. The paper on which these words are printed informs you. Noticed or ignored, this web of others protects and holds you and makes it possible for you to make a difference in the world, to take what comes to you as seed and then pass it on as blossom. And what comes to you as blossom, you ripen it to fruit. I love that. What it tells me is that life is grace, that we are grace for each other, that everything is supported. In your heart, in your world, there is an energy that will carry you, and we never are alone. We're never alone. Whether we feel neglected, we feel sad when stuff is happening in our life, there is something there that walks with us or walks before us, paving the way. The universe supports our journey. So this talk is called Spot of Grace, and that spot of grace is within each and every one of us. And in that spot of grace is the God within us, is the energy of love within each and every one of us. And grace is working in our life, whether we feel it or not. It's always working. It's like the sun, it shines on everybody, not just one person. You don't have to earn it. When I was a little kid, it was like, I learned grace differently than I know it today. I feel grace working. I see grace working. And I see it everywhere. And that's kind of what this talk is about, is being open to it. Because the more we see it, the more we feel it, the more it moves through us. And then we touch others, and we change the world that way. I got up this morning and somebody had made the coffee already. That was grace. Usually I'm getting up banging in the morning, right? I'm talking, that just little things happen, the birds that sing. So that's what woke me up this morning, the dark, it was dark when you woke up if you got up early because of the daylight saving time. There was a little bird that was there chirping, just waiting for me to get up. There's so much beauty and so much grace in the whole world. It's been said that grace is love fully bestowed. It's been said by the Tao that it's the effortless flow of existence, or that it's a wave of light that breaks through. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that it's a state of oneness, and that it is a reconnection back into the flow of life. See? So what is grace to you? That would be my question. Where have you seen grace in your life? It's all around us. It's just that we get so blocked with all the heaviness and all the tiredness of life. We have our busy lives, and we forget that there's this sparkle to life. There's this grace that moves through everything in life. And then when we're quiet enough, and it probably stays, that's what, when you take your sabbatical and you're going to your ocean, you love that, and you feel it, you'll start to feel the grace bubbling up inside of you, and that's with all of us. The more that we can be quiet, the more that we can quit worrying, and the more that we can stop feeling all of this, emotions. And I'm not saying you shouldn't feel them, you should, but after you feel them enough, there's a energy that moves through you. And that energy is the God energy of grace. I look at it like this, like God, I don't know, you can't describe God. God's the unknowable. But the energy of God is grace in your life. It's God manifested through you in your life. You know, it happens at the times when you don't know what to say and something comes when you're talking to somebody that's hurt. You'll say something and grace will move through. It's not you talking, it's that energy of grace that comes through. I feel it sometimes in counseling. When I'm talking to somebody, there's an energy that all of a sudden it's not me, my ego talking. There's an energy of God that comes through us when we're open and when we let it be open. It answers our questions in life. You know, when we're concerned about things, when we have questions, what do I do next? I'm living in this mystery of what about my life? Grace knows. Are we just open to grace, you know? It happens when we let go. You know, when we don't have to change life. We don't have to alter life to the way we want it. You know, it happens when we just let go and let life be life on life's terms. When we do that, there just is this energy that is there to love, you know, and to support us all. Rumi, I love Rumi. He says, give up to grace. The ocean takes care of each wave until it gets to the shore. See, and I kind of feel that way about us, like we're these little waves, right? That God or the energy of life is taken care of until we reach shore. You know, we're never alone. You know, and I think sometimes we feel so isolated, you know, and I know we do. I talk to people who feel so alone. And the truth is that when we are connected, when we are letting go of all of the mind structure and all the stuff that goes on, we drop to our heart, we feel the warmth of joy in our life. This grace moves through us. See, so to me, how do you do that? You know, how do you feel the grace? You let go and you trust. Trust is a big thing here for me. Trust is how we open to grace. And trusting that there's something bigger than us out there. See, this life energy is a mystery. Boy, you know, God's a mystery. And nobody really knows what that energy is. We just know what it feels like when it moves through our life. It's a sense of well-being for me. There's a sparkle to my life when I feel grace move through it. When I can trust that there's something bigger than me running my life. It's scary to me to think that my little ego can run this life. Because if that's the case, then, you know, I'm not sure I want to be here. When I'm connected to something bigger, I'm connected to you. I'm connected to each other. I'm connected to the plants, right? I'm connected to all of life when I open to grace. See, that's what it's about. It's about being able to trust that there's something bigger than us. One of my favorite stories is about, it's this old Sufi story, and it's about a woman who is a traveler, and she's walking in the woods somewhere, and she reaches down, she sees this gold piece, this beautiful gold piece of gold, and she picks it up and she puts it in her little bag and she continues on. And then she sees another fellow traveler, and he comes up to her and he says, I'm hungry, do you have anything? So she opens up her bag to get a sandwich out, and he sees that little piece of gold in there, and he goes, I'd rather have the gold. And she lifts it up and she gives it to him. He takes it, he looks at her, he takes the gold and he runs off. And as he's running, he just stops in his track. He looks down at the gold, and then he looks at her, and he runs back to her, and he gives it back. And you know what he says to her? He says, you know, I'm giving you back this precious stone so that I want more. I want what it is that enabled you to give me the gold. Does that make sense? He wanted more. He wanted more than just the stone. He realized that within her she had something. And the story goes on to ask you, what is it in her that enabled her to give that gold to just a stranger? So I ask you, what is it in her? And to me, you know, it could be kindness, could be stupidity, who knows? To me, you know, it was grace, right? And it was trust. It was trust that the universe will provide. I don't need the gold. It's okay. I can give. It was generosity. It was all of that. But it was the idea that I can trust the universe will provide for me, that I can give what I have to anybody else. I've seen people here. I love it when somebody has said something like, oh, I love that necklace. I've seen people take it off of their, I want this, so don't ask for it. But that's what they've done. They've given it to the other person. You know, it's so cool to see that generosity, to see that trust, to see the love and the grace that we have for each other. You know, and that's the whole thing. That's what this is about. Grace works in our life in so many different ways. You know, it's this idea that we gotta trust it, you know? And trust, see, here's the deal about trust. Grace is God's gift. It just comes through us, you know, and we use it to help others in the world. We use it to serve and take our gift out to the world. But trust, we gotta develop, you know? It's a muscle that we have to do. We have to get up and say, okay, I'm gonna trust today. It's not easy. To me, it just doesn't come to say, okay, I trust everything's gonna work out. I have to work on it. I have to build my trust muscle, you know? I have to know that boy, you know, I'm gonna work on saying, okay, I'm gonna trust this will work. I do my spiritual practice, I meditate, I pray, and I trust. And guess what? Pretty soon, trust happens. And as you trust, guess what happens? Grace happens. The energy of God happens, you know? The energy of God flows through you, loves you, and walks before you. You know? It's about, you know, it's about faith. I don't know, faith is kind of a funny word for us. You know, what does that mean? You know, to me it's trust. It's trust and faith together. Here's what I know, bottom line, you know, with all of this is that the universe operates on love. See, that's the energy of the universe. It's not the surface level of battles and all of the chaos and all of the friction. The universe operates on love, and love is God. The universe is God. And it's just that we're at a different vibration. Our job is to let go of all this stuff and start to feel the energy of God. Feel the energy through grace, you know? And it's love that gives us the power to transcend all of the chaos of life, all of the sadness of life, everything that's going on in life. We can manage, and we can open to, and we can change with this power of love, you know? So we have to match it, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, there's God, and then, you know, in the old days when I was growing up, it was God and the devil, right? There was these two, you know, things battling. And I never got that as a kid, you know, I just, you know, I never did get it. I still don't. But what I get is that there's an energy of love, you know, and then there's an illusion of fear. And that our job is to be able to break through to the love and to let that run our life. And we do that by opening, by trusting, and by letting grace move through us. You know, there's a realm of something bigger right here, right in this room. Each one of us can feel it if we let ourselves feel it, right? If we let go of all the mind stuff, we can feel the energy move through us. That's kind of what we do here on Sunday mornings. You know, I think, you know, when the music plays and the meditation, you know, it changes the vibration. So what happens is that it gets you present. It gets you out of your head so that you start to feel something a little bit different. It changes your vibration, see? And that's the power of grace in our life. And we each have the ability to do that. So whatever's going on in your life, you can take a moment. You can step back and breathe, let go, feel grace move through you. You know, it's like God, call it grace, you know, whatever it is saying, you know, I'm here to serve you, to be here. And we're ignoring it, right? We're not opening to it. We're not saying, wow, you know, here's God. You know, there's the picture that I think of that reminds me of that is the hand reaching up and then God's hand reaching down, right? It's a Christian picture. But in the idea, you can get what I'm saying, is that God's there for us. The energy of the universe is there for us. Love is there for us. So that's what I know, is that right now, whatever you're going through in your life, be it good, be it bad, whatever you label it as, it is a platform for a miracle to happen. And you know what that miracle is that you open to realize who you are, to realize that you are so much more than this little human ego that is just doing life, that you walk with a power that is amazing. You walk with a power that is so wise and beautiful and loving, and there isn't anything that you can't do in life. So the deal is, bottom line, we got to do our part, we got to trust, we got to practice, we got to know, and God will do God's part. The universe does its part. So Ramakrishna was a 19th century Indian mystic, and he said, the winds of grace are always blowing. It's up for us, it's up to us to raise our sails. My prayer is, dear God, help us to raise our sails. Thank you.
Be That's what I want to know. That's how I want to live my life. And so that's sort of what I'm going to talk about today, this idea that when we know that everything's going to be all right, our life shows up differently, doesn't it? And for me, when I picked this image, do you see what that is? Everybody around me, the world, the news, the political system, the Middle East, everybody's got hair on fire, right? Isn't it true? Hair on fire all over the world in my, situations too. And the spot of grace is that part of us that can actually trust and stay calm right in the middle of whatever it is and know that it's going to be all right. That there is something more. There's something more going on than the surface appearance of whatever that thing is. And when we can live in that awareness, then we can actually have full appreciation and joy for our life experience. You see, the thing is, we're talking about appreciation and joy for this entire month. And if we're not trusting life and looking deeper beyond the surface of the icky stuff that shows up, we might not have as much joy. We might not be able to appreciate life on life's terms. Because what I want to do is love the life that I'm living. And the life that I'm living includes a lot of stuff that looks like people running around with their hair on fire. It's just that simple. And I see heads nodding, and I know it's true for you too. So when I have this sense of grace, this sense that there's this blessed assurance that there is an amazing grace, the grace of God, or whatever you choose to call that divine energy, when that is moving through the tapestry of everything, it changes the way I view my life. It changes the way I view the world. It changes the way I view my relationships and all the stuff that goes on. I love the quote from